Labadiena! So in my previous episode I started building 3 stools. I mean, I've started with 2, but somewhere in the process my friend let me realize that he needs 3. So I'm really glad these news didn't come once the stools are delivered. Anyway, this is where I'm at. I made the leg parts and I started working on the seat frames. I've glued these yesterday, so it's about time to take these out of the clamps. So obviously first thing to do is to clean up the pieces a little bit. And then I will have to reinforce the miters, because this type of joint may be okay for the picture frame, but it's way too weak for the seat. So my idea is to glue a couple of splines in each of the miter. And of course, the most obvious way would be to make a jig which would hold the piece at 22.5 degrees from the table and cut it on the table saw. And to do that neatly, you also would need a blade which would have at least a few square teeth, so you would end up with a rectangular cut. But I never had that kind of blade for the table saw. What I have instead is a special blade for the spindle molder. And in my opinion, cutting the splines on this machine is way safer because the piece is resting on the table and not standing vertically, so you end up with way more control over your piece. But I guess enough babble and let's make something productive. I must have thrown away my corner cutting jig, so let's make a new one. I would like to make a cut all the way up to the corner, but with this kind of setup I reached the limit because the sacrificial fence is already touching the spindle, so I guess I will have to remove it. I busted the first corner right away. I wasn't paying attention whether this sits flush with the jig, and it was slightly off. I drove the wedges in and that's how it went. Though I can confidently say that this type of clamping system holds really well. Also, I noticed that some of the frames are slightly off 90 degrees, like for instance this one. And it was really easy to position it exactly in the center using these 2 wedges. So I just divided the gap on each side. Quick tip, make the wedges out of softer wood so they wouldn't leave any indentation marks on your finished piece. Okay, let's fix the mistake and finish those frames. A little bit of hand sanding and these frames will be done, but I'm not gonna do that until it's time for the finish. Also, I realized I have a small issue with these frames, and this is where not making a 3D model shoots you in the back. So I haven't really thought about this transition where the seat meets the back of the seat. You see when the webbing will come in up till here, this piece will sit on top of here, and I don't really think that this will look good. And originally it was made to sit like so. So this portion should have been a bit wider. I don't really want to rush with this decision, so I guess I will work on the legs now. Oh wait, no, not this type of legs. You can call me lazy, and probably you will be right, but I have a friend with a white belt sander next door, so why should I bother sanding these by hand? I'm a lucky idiot. I was so concentrated about making the domino in the center of the peg that somehow I forgot to think about the width of the domino. So once I made the hole, I realized that it barely covers it. So luckily it covers it, so I will just plug it and I will use a smaller domino. So I failed again. Because these dominoes are so tiny, I decided to add 2 in each joint. But to fit both of them, I had to offset the line slightly, but I forgot to offset the upper line, so therefore these 2 holes collided. And also, as you can see, I missed the center line with the first plunge, so I guess I will have to plug this one too. That's all I have at the moment. Sincerely, thank you for being with me, and I really hope to see you on the last episode. Bye bye.